Welcome back, frenemies. Episode 35. The season is here.
It is.
It's tomorrow night. We got kickoff. Or it'll
so
be Thursday
excited.
night, depending on when you listen to this. But Bears, Packers start us out. I'm your host, Chris. To my right, we got the commish, Sean, and a special shout out to one of my fantasy leagues that I play in, the Colonial League, a church league of mine. Shout out to the commish there, Brian and Stewie, Josh, Edwards. You guys make the league extremely fun. It's a great league. It's the one league I did not make the playoffs in last year.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, I know, man. They're like, oh, he's got a podcast. I'm like, oh, don't
It's
mind
the added
me.
pressure now.
I know, right?
I'm
I'm
feeling
like,
it.
but they do like active traders. Dude, they hit up like the chat like we do in our league. The chat on there is like times 1,000. I'm wondering what these guys do for work because three of the guys, and I kind of mentioned them, they're just on there all day, gifts after gifts after gifts. And like, look at my phone, I got 100 missed text messages. I'm like, oh my goodness. But a shout out to you guys. It's an extremely fun league. I just wanted to say hey to you guys. Thanks for listening. But let's get right into the weekly headliners. I think there was some news in the past week here, especially last night.
It was quite a weekend here that all this stuff started happening. But the big news is Zeke is back.
The Zeke monster.
A guy in our league is definitely very excited
I
about
am
this.
not excited about it because I played that guy in week one, and I was banking on him not being there. But,
so, not to say I was right. I think you said the same, but we were right. We said he would sign before it started, and he took it down to the wire here. But
and what's up with the Cowboys? If you were going to give him the most money for a running back, what took you so long?
I know.
If that's what the end was going to be.
I think Jerry's about his drama. He wanted to be in the news. Everybody's watching the NFL right now. I mean, honestly, that sounds kind of crazy, but I don't know if I'd put it past Jerry Jones that he wanted all the attention right before the season starts.
He's the master at that. I agree with you. I would not put it that past him either. But we had some other running back moves as well.
We did. So first, let's just talk a little bit about the Zeke.
Okay.
Because I know there's going to be people out there that are going to be a little trepidatious. He hasn't played with the team. He didn't know preseason games. There was a report I think that came out saying they're looking about 20 to 25 reps is really what they want to give him. I don't believe it. That's my stance on it. So if you have him, I would put him in your lineup. I mean, I wouldn't probably rank him in the top 10 because of, not being in quite football shape, as they say.
Right.
But start him up. He's
one thing, you're starting off with a divisional game. They're going against the Giants in week one.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose a divisional game to start the year. So that might be their game plan, but if things start getting a little rocky, so if you are a Zeke Elliott owner, you want that game to be close where they got to keep carrying Zeke out there to get them through that game.
Yep.
So I think he'll get plenty of touches. It'll slowly grow. He won't look like the Zeke of old right at the bat, but he's going to be just fine week one.
So, start him up, and you can drop Tony Pollard unless you're the Zeke owner.
Yeah. Then we got some Buffalo Bills action going on.
Yep.
They cut McCoy. That shoots Devin Singletary, who are a lot of people's sleepers.
Yep.
Like up the boards there. If you're drafted late, a lot of guys taking shots at him. But man, we got to look at the backfield of the Kansas City Chiefs now. People were drafting Damian Williams almost first round.
Yep, LaShawn McCoy now sitting there backing up Damian Williams.
Coming back to Andy Reid, who loved McCoy back in Philly.
Yep. And he had great success with him. My thought on it is that it's going to be a mess. That's kind of where I think we're at.
Fantasy-wise, yeah. For Kansas City Chiefs fans, you might see you love like the 1,000 weapons that'll be thrown out there. But
I think that people are going to underrate what Andy Reid thinks of McCoy, and I think he's going to use him. He may have just signed, but I think that he was probably in talks with them about trade and such, and they just realized they didn't have leverage in Buffalo, so they just let him hit the waiver wire and picked him right up. And they paid him. They gave him. They gave him less. I mean, it's not like they gave him a league minimum or anything. So I think that they're going to use him. I'm not sure week one we'll see too much of it. But what I think is there's going to be a three-headed monster here now.
Darwin Thompson added in that mix.
Yep, Darwin Thompson, McCoy, and Damian Williams are now all going to eat into each other into what we would think would be an amazing offense to have a running back in. But I think you're going to get frustrated a lot. I think they're all going to be startable at times this year. I kind of have some sleeper hopes for Darwin Thompson to kind of take over that backfield. I think he may even be the most talented back there.
Yeah. If you're a Patrick Mahomes fan, this is good for you.
Yes.
Because of everything that it opens up. I even think, what's his name? Who's the tight end over there?
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce. Just all the play action
Brain
stuff
fart.
there. Brain fart. Major. Best tight end in the league right now. Ooh, that was me. All right. And then Carlos Hyde. Just just hurting the Duke Johnson truthers out there.
They were all excited.
I was too. Have them in some leagues, and then stupid Carlos Hyde.
Yep, Carlos Hyde ruining our lives again.
And they're a traditional ground and pound guy when they use their running back, so that hurts the Duke Johnson. But they haven't had a Duke Johnson type back.
Yep.
So there might be some changes offensively, but it doesn't help you fantasy-wise.
And we'll get more into these
Hyde
backfields here. We got a segment coming up where we're going to talk about them a little bit. So stay tuned, as they say.
Stay tuned. But let's get over to our party question of the week.
Ian, would you like to go to a party in my pants?
Party?
No, Brick.
All right, let's go.
All right, so the party question here is, what's the most overrated food chain here in America?
Yeah, so everybody's
We can get
talks
some haters
about
on this.
Yeah, we've kind of done some underrated stuff. So today we're gonna do an overrated.
Overrated. Sean, I want to start off with you so people remember yours because they're going to hate you for that one.
Yeah,
you're definitely going to get a pot.
I'm gonna need the hate blockers on here.
Pick here. So what's your most overrated food chain?
All right, so most, that's such a big word. I don't know if I want to attach most to this, but I think that Chipotle is heavily overrated.
Chipotle.
I'm sure there's people out there that are going to not be happy with this. It's their go-to place. But when we're comparing it to its counterparts, say Moe's, Qdoba's, and Chipotle, it's very firmly at the bottom of the list for me. Call me a fatty, but it's because of the queso, man. You got to have queso. They did introduce it, but it's not good.
No, I was like, this is grizzly.
Yeah.
What is this
It's
stuff?
kind of grainy.
Try to do it a little different. No.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
So I'm not a fan of the Chipotle. Give me some Moe's, give me some Qdoba's, but Chipotle, I think it's just overrated.
Overrated.
All right, what about you, Chris?
After all the hate you just got, I can slide mine right in. Fuddruckers. A burger joint, Fuddruckers. You don't find too many. I think that's for a reason. They're still around. They're out there. I went there about a
People
month or so
talk them up.
ago.
I've heard them.
Dude, go in there. It's okay, but I'm like, nothing big or crazy. I'd rather go to hole in the wall burger places, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't really pull me to say, hey, I want to go over there. I think it's like I'm spending a little bit more on a burger it's good, but
yeah,
not
I didn't really talk about this in mine, but you could definitely use this for yours. I think price is something you bring into it, and it's expensive at Fuddruckers. It's like,
I know, right?
I'm not paying this much for a burger that I could buy at McDonald's or something. Like it's not that much better than like a fast food burger in my opinion.
It's like a burger and shake, like $35. I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah.
And you got to put your own
Five
toppings
Guys,
on.
same thing. You're just like, oh my gosh, $15. I could have gone down to a sit-down restaurant here.
I know, and I never finished a Five Guys meal because the fries are like ridiculous amount.
Yeah, you gotta get that helper there and double up on it.
You do. So that's our party question there. I wonder what Ryan would have said, but we won't know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
Jump in the comments, Ryan.
Now we're going to introduce 2 new segments that we're going to be doing throughout the season. The first one, we got Fantasy Football Tinder, so let's get to that. Ooh.
It's your show.
Guess this show.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, yeah. So, Tinder, I've never been on there, but that's an honest truth. But, you swipe left, swipe right whenever there's a picture come up you want to go date. And I just immediately thought of Joey, like, how you doing? That's old school.
Yeah.
Not hiding behind a screen. You had to go up to a girl and talk to them. But so we're going to talk about a few guys. Are we swiping left and swiping right? If we're swiping left, we don't want any business.
This will be our kind of start sit.
Yep. Swiping right, we want them. Right, we want to start them. I want to take them out to dinner. Here we go. They're going to be good for me that week. So I'll start off with my swipe right, swipe left. So my first guy we're throwing up on my little screen here is T.Y. Hilton.
Okay.
T.Y. Hilton with all the Andrew Luck buzz and what's going on over there, how it's going to affect all this. Everybody's taking a little.
So you're swiping left or you swiping right?
I'm swiping right. I am starting T.Y. Hilton. I'm taking T.Y. Hilton out to eat.
Okay.
Because you know what? Jacoby Brissett loved him before.
You like what you see?
I like what I see. Especially against week 1. You got a very good pass rush against the Chargers. That's a great offensive line in Indianapolis that was built for Luck. Now Luck's gone. So there's going to be time in the pocket to get at T.Y. T.Y. starts the season off. He's healthy. I think he'll still get the targets in there. It won't be a high and prolific like Luck would be doing, but he's definitely a swipe right for me. I'm all about T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, I like that. I think he's been underrated here. He took the tick down with Luck, but I don't think it's going to be that bad.
And his fantasy draft value.
Yeah,
for guys who let him fall,
it's true.
Still an eye on him, but I think he'll still be a great wide receiver too. That could be elevated to wide receiver 1.
All All right, and then I'll go to my swipe righter here.
Ooh, swipe right.
So my start that I think you should start this week, we talked about it a little bit earlier with Carlos Hyde being joined. I think you can still start Duke Johnson.
Yeah.
I think if you can't start Duke Johnson this week, then you might not ever start him. So this is the time to do it. I think that they're going to be much more split in the carry department this week because Carlos Hyde just came on. I can't see them giving him this 20 carry workload right after the bat. So I think that Duke Johnson, obviously he's going to be in on third downs. He's going to get all those receiving yards for you. He'll give you a good, nice baseline. So I don't know. I'm projecting a pretty good week for Duke Johnson. So if you got him, I say put him in that flex, put him in that RB2 even if you need to.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I do have him in some leagues, but I totally understand where you're coming from there. You still got to watch him really well. You'll be watching Red Zone, going over to that game.
Yeah, it might be scary, but I think he'll end up with a good week for you.
But let's talk about some other scary backfield situations. I like how we're both of us going here in our swipe left, sitting these guys. My pick is Tevin Coleman.
Okay.
News broke out that, take it for what it is, but some people say it does mean something when they list their depth chart and they put Matt Breida at 1 and Tevin Coleman at 2.
I was not happy.
As much as they're like, oh, it'll still be a split, yeah, they're still both getting a workload, but coaches are trusting Breida more. And so I'm saying sit on Tevin Coleman. Like, I was really high on him early, thinking he would take that lead role.
Yeah.
But I would bench him week 1, sit him there, even though it's against Tampa. But to me, he's like, got to prove it. I need to see Garoppolo in action. I got to see this whole offense put together from Shanahan before I can trust Coleman's usage.
Yeah. Well, ding ding. We'll ring the frenemies argument bell here because I kind of disagree with this.
Yeah.
I'd say I think you can start Tevin Coleman this week. I think that it's more of a like that depth chart thing to me. At first glance, I freaked out about it. I have Tevin Coleman in a league, and I was like, oh no, this is not good. But I think what it's going to come down to more of a hot hand type of thing. And I think Tevin Coleman against Tampa is going to get enough work that you're going to be able to start him. I'm not saying he's going to be great. I just think that you don't have to sit him. So I'll push back a little bit on that. That's just kind of my thought.
Going with that hot hand thing, Breida was the hot hand in preseason as well. So that's why I'm a little scared in there.
Yep.
But Tevin Coleman, he's a vet.
He's a Shanahan guy.
Yeah, he
brought him in for a reason, I think. They paid him, and I think they're going to use him. It's a little scary starting out this week with it. But, in regard to what you said, I think you could wait it out. If you can, then it might be smart to just wait this out with Breida or Coleman. So
Gotcha.
right.
Who's your swipe left?
So my swipe left here is going to make a bunch of people, kind of like Chipotle, make them angry because I know a lot of you spent a high draft capital on Damian Williams, and I'm scared for you this week.
I think they're scared too.
Yeah, so I don't think McCoy gets a ton of work this first week, but I think he's going to rotate in, and like I said, it'll be that three-headed monster where they're gonna get Darwin Thompson sometime too, and so I think you're just playing Russian roulette, hoping that Damian Williams is the one who's on the field when it comes to the end zone, and I'm a little afraid of that this week because they start off week 1 against Jacksonville. And that defense
matter in this
is good.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they're going to kind of bring back their dominance they had in that 2017 season. I kind of see a return to form there. And so Damian Williams, kind of like I said with the Tevin Coleman, you could start him if you need to. But if you can wait and you can see how that's going to shake out, I would sit Damian Williams. So that's my swipe left.
Oof, and that's going to be tough because that's a lot of people's RB1 from the draft.
It is, and it's going to be hard to sit him. But I just think this week you might not like what you get.
That's true. Well, let's go to our next segment here. Oh, how the turntables have turned. This is Sean's baby right here. Oh, The Office. Love it.
Shh, don't give it away.
Well. How the turntables.
Oh man, it's a great episode. Like if they couldn't get off that, intro music, then why are you watching the podcast?
It's true. If you don't know The Office, then we don't really want you. No, just joking. We want everyone, even if you hate The Office.
And your grandmother.
My wife hates The Office. Still watch, baby.
What?
Yeah, she doesn't like. We could go into a whole frenemies debate there.
That is terrible. All right, so Explain to the crowd what this is all
the
about.
turning tables is going to be a segment we're going to go over weekly, where we're just going to kind of bring up, players that had a good week or a bad week the previous week, and then we'll discuss whether we think they're going to be good next week. So it'll kind of be one of those flip-flop things. In fantasy, we see highs, we see lows. I think that it's important for people to know, coming off of a big week, don't believe all the hype. You might need to sit this guy the next week, or vice versa. He had a down week this week. Just put him back in your lineup. He'll be fine. And so that's kind of how it'll go during the season. Since we're at week 1, we don't have a week before this. And so we're going to kind of do kind of a comeback player of the year. Last year, we'll base it on what last year happened and say, project them to do a better job this year. So I guess start us off here, Chris. Who's somebody you think can turn the tables?
Everyone's fantasy darling during draft season, Chris Godwin. Going from a wide receiver 3 to I think a wide receiver 1B. We can see almost like an Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster thing that we saw in Pittsburgh, now with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And if you're a true fantasy, like in the weeds last year, you saw Godwin's numbers starting to jump as a wide receiver 3 in Tampa. Now he gets to take that role from Deshaun Jackson. I think he's going to be a name that we're all talking about. And the guys who took him 3rd, 4th round, 5th round, usually about the 5th round, are going to feel like the luckiest man in the world.
Yeah, now I've heard some hype that he could even be, as good as Mike Evans. Like, he'll challenge him for that wide receiver 1 spot. So look, let's say last year he was in that wide receiver 3 to 2 or 4 category. What do you think is his upside this year then? Like, where do you think he ends up landing?
I think he'll have the numbers to be a wide receiver 1 in ranking. So you're almost looking at Tampa has 2 wide receiver 1s coming into fantasy, because I think there's just so much volume in Arians' offense, and those guys are already proved their worth. Now they're just going to get the ball more. A lot on Jameis Winston. Yeah.
I mean, I like Chris Godwin. I think he will turn the tables a little bit, but I'm going to push back a little on the crazy hype. Mm-hmm. I think that I'm scared of Jameis Winston. Like,
everybody is.
Yeah. I think Bruce Arians is afraid.
Oh, yeah.
So
seafood restaurants as well. Crab legs.
Yeah. So I am a little trepidatious on that. But I mean, he's got upside. He is a great talented player. Like, you can't deny the talent this guy's got. So you could definitely see him take that jump into the wide receiver 2 category. The guy that I'm gonna push here is, I think that a guy that can turn it around. He's had a rough start to his NFL career, and that's Leonard Fournette. I think it's been, he's been suspended. The team has, suspended him themselves. He's been hurt. It's just been a rough road for him. But I think Jacksonville, like I said before, is kind of going to return to dominance here. Nick Foles, I mean, I know it's funny to say that he's going to turn them around, but you can't deny what the guy's done. He's a better quarterback than Blake Bortles. I think I can very easily say that. So if that's the case, this offense is going to be better. The reports are that he's doing his part. He's kind of maturing a little, which we haven't seen yet. So I think if he can just, get it together, that I think Leonard Fournette here can be a low-end RB1 for you. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see him turn up at that, like, running back 10 spot. So that would be a good turnaround. Last year was kind of disappointing. So I'm putting my chips in on Leonard Fournette there.
I agree. It's a hard one to digest because of what we've seen here recently, but I have nothing really more to add to that. It's going to turn out really good. You're going to just have to believe it. You got to believe it in your gut that he's going to turn around with a better quarterback.
I didn't get him in any leagues. I wished I did, but
I didn't either. And it's because just like the gut feeling.
Yeah, everybody still had the hype on him. But
don't want to do it, but well, that's our episode this week.
That's what we got for you.
I mean, that's a little bit we're going in there trying to just give you the information that you're looking for. And hopefully the start sits, swipe left, swipe right helps you out. And Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette kicks off your team.
Yeah, a quick comment there on the start and sit. If you guys want to start sending us comments or hitting us up on Facebook or something, we're happy to use any of those questions in this segment. So if you guys hit us up with one you want to know, we'll feature it on the show.
Yeah. All right, so follow us on our social media platforms out there, Frenemies FF Podcast, right? That's all out there, especially as football season starts. We're going to be live tweeting, putting things up there. And then our solo episodes start coming up here probably next week.
Yeah, so we'll do some solo stuff. We'll kind of announce that over this next week here, what we're going to be doing. So tune in for next time, guys. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, check us out on all our social media. Thanks, guys.
Deuces.